That's it. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Trooper Cliff Greenfield. I'm a trooper with the Pennsylvania State Police, and I serve as a public information officer here in Troop A. With me here this afternoon is Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens, Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Pennsylvania State Police, Indiana County District Attorney Robert F. Manzi Jr., Major Matthew Nicky, PSP Area 2 Commander, Captain Jonathan Rush, Commanding Officer, Troop A Greensburg, Lieutenant Richard Quinn, our Indiana Station Commander, and Mr. Ron Sabachik, Supervisor, ATF Pittsburgh Field Office. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens. Colonel Bivens.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. At approximately midnight overnight from Saturday, October 7th into the morning of October 8th, a disturbance call was received by PSP Indiana indicating there was excessive noise coming from a building known as the Chevy Chase Community Center on North 5th Avenue, White Township, Indiana County. PSP patrol members responded and received an assurance that the music would be turned down. As a precaution, the PSP mounted unit was asked to move to that area and monitor the situation, as there was a potential issue of a large group of people to be managed at this party. Upon arrival, members of the mounted unit heard multiple gunshots originating from within the facility. A request for backup was made and additional gunshots were heard, along with observing a large number of people exiting the building through doors and windows. Members rendered immediate aid to obviously injured individuals collapsing outside the building, while simultaneously other members made entry into the building. Other victims were located and the building was secured. Investigators learned that this was a privately organized party which required attendees to pay a fee at the door to get in. It was not an officially sanctioned IUP homecoming event. It is believed there were in excess of 150 people present in this venue when the shootings occurred. A total of 9 victims have been identified as having been shot. 1 is deceased, 6 remain hospitalized, with at least 1 in critical condition. The victims consist of 6 males and 3 females, all ranging in age from 18 to 23 years of age. As you can imagine, this is a very complex and spread out crime scene that we continue to work through at this time. Thousands of pieces of evidence have been and continue to be collected. In addition to PSP Forensic Services, FBI evidence response teams, along with investigators from the ATF, have been brought in and are assisting our efforts at this time. Some of the items we have collected include clothing items and cell phones. Dozens of gunshots were fired within the confines of the building. Additionally, numerous fired shell casings and multiple firearms have been recovered. We continue to search the entire immediate area for additional evidence. We are announcing PA Crime Stoppers has offered up to a $10,000 reward, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has offered up to a $5,000 reward for a reward total of $15,000 for information leading to the identification and prosecution of the individuals responsible for this shooting. Anyone with information is asked to call the PSP Indiana station at 724-357-1960. That's 724-357-1960. Additionally, we are asking anyone who may be missing cell phones or other personal items from this location to contact us at that same number. We are asking anyone who lives or has a business in the vicinity of this incident to check their doorbell cameras and video surveillance recordings to determine if they may have captured anything which might be helpful to investigators. Again, the number to call for PSP Indiana is 724-357-1960. At this time, I'll turn it over to the District Attorney for his remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming this afternoon. I want to take a moment today to thank the members of our team for their diligent work in this tragic case so far. In this matter, members of the Pennsylvania State Police literally ran towards the gunfire to render aid and protection for members of our community. Since the time early this morning, many agencies and individuals have worked hard towards the same goal, to protect the community and bring those bad actors to justice. Our team has included members of the Pennsylvania State Police in a variety of teams and barracks around the state of Pennsylvania, the Indiana Borough Police, the IUP Police, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals Task Force, various police departments around Western Pennsylvania and in other states. We appreciate the many hours already invested in finding these bad actors and know that they will continue their professional work towards that goal. As with any investigation, law enforcement relies on the cooperation of our community. We know that there were many people at this event. Even if you believe information you have is not relevant, we are asking that you contact the state police and let them know what you know. The information that you have may be helpful in this investigation. Please let us know that information in order to protect our community. To the Indiana County community, I have seen many people offering prayers and support to the victims of the crime, to the staff at the Chevy Chase Center, and to the law enforcement officers that are working this tragic case. Your support is felt. Please continue that support. And again, if you were there or if you know anything, it is incumbent that you contact the members of the state police and provide them with that information. We'll now open up for any questions.
Gentlemen, you said, as the leader of the state police said, and I quote, a gunshot, dozens of gunshots. Are we talking about multiple gunmen?
Yes.
Any definition to multiple?
Not at this time.
Have police identified any of the gunmen yet?
We are actively working on a number of leads. We may have some leads on some of the identities, but again, we're looking for information. We're pursuing every possible aspect of this to include a lot of forensics that we've done on shell casings, DNA, and so forth. And so we anticipate that the culmination of all of those results will assist us in identifying ultimately who these gunmen were.
Any information on what led to this incident prior to the shooting?
Again, it's all part of the ongoing investigation right now. But as the district attorney said, we're looking for anyone who was at this event or has any information. We're trying to put all of those pieces together. As you can imagine, with this many people there, with the chaos that ensued when all of these gunshots started ringing out, there are a lot of different people saw different things, and we'd really like to talk to as many of them as possible.
Is this a case of shots fired and others fired back at them?
Again, that's all part of the investigation. It may well be that we had a gunfight inside this building.
Are you able to provide us with the person or the group that hosted the party?
Not at this time. We do have that information, and we're working through not only who rented it, but who was physically present there and hosting the party.
Is there an active threat to the public at this time?
We believe this was an incident that was really isolated to the attendees at that party. Certainly, we believe the individuals that were involved in this are dangerous in that they engaged in a gunfight in a building like that. But we do not believe that this was an act of violence that was directed at the community at large.
Would you say this was a targeted attack then?
I think that's all going to be part of the ongoing investigation. And as we identify shooters and get to motives, we'll have a better idea of it.
And if I missed it, I'm sorry. Was there a time that the first complaints came in last night?
It was just right around midnight, whenever the first noise complaints came in.
Did the dispute originate there, or was it something off-site and then made its way there?
That's all part of the investigation. Our involvement began at that site, and it all unfolded with our people responding there to see first on a noise complaint and then ultimately trying to deal with some potentially disorderly people.
You said that the mounted patrol literally and the state police literally ran toward the building. Were any state police personnel or horses injured in the confrontation?
Fortunately, they were not.
You talked a lot about the amount of evidence that troopers are dealing with. How difficult is it to investigate a shooting of this magnitude?
Well, it takes a methodical investigation. Our people are up to that. We're working closely with the district attorney's office. There are certainly a lot of pieces of evidence to be collected within the building. There are lots of things outside of the building as well. And then there's lots of other, electronic evidence and things that we're working with the district attorney's office to capture, and that will certainly greatly assist us as we move forward.
Do you know what roughly the capacity of that venue is supposed to be?
I do not. I can tell you it's not a particularly large building, and it would have been very full given the number of people we believe were there at the time.
Had that center been, have police responded there before for any sort of issues at the center?
I don't have that information
I don't
available.
know if any of the local troopers would know that information.
I would have to do some research on that to get back to you.
Were any of the victims IUP students?
We don't have that information at this time. That is certainly a part of the investigation. It again does not appear, it was not directly linked to homecoming, and it does not appear, at least the majority were not IUP students.
Actually, for homecoming activity, that particular venue is kind of strange to be utilized for a homecoming party even. Would you agree?
Yes, it's not close to the campus, and again, we have no reason to believe it was part of homecoming, and certainly not an officially sanctioned event.
Was there video surveillance inside the building?
We're working through what may or may not be available in there. There is a system. What we're able to recover from that system remains to be determined yet.
Do you have any update on the victims? I know one was still in critical condition, some had been treated but released.
As I said, 2 have been released. The others remain hospitalized. I don't have any further update on their condition at this point.
Do you know if the gunmen were already at the gathering, or did they enter the building afterward and start shooting?
After what?
Do you know if they were already inside the building, or did they enter the building?
When our troopers on the mounted detail went there, they were apparently inside the building at that point in time. If that answers what you're asking.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you know if they were at this gathering for a significant amount of time, or did
Oh,
you
that's
know
all.
if
No, that'll all be
entered?
part of the ongoing investigation. There were people coming and going from this constantly. So there was a process where you use an app to pay to get in, and you could come, stay for a period of time, and leave. And so there was traffic. I'm told there was traffic in and out of there throughout the course of the evening.
The university was alerting its students to be vigilant. Initially, it was in place, but later on was you would go out but be vigilant. What is the current status in terms of the student body and the IUP?
Is she was close, or was she just passing by?
What I would say, I've not spoken directly to the university about their current status. I would tell you that that at this point, again, we have no reason to believe that the public at large is at risk.
I'm sorry, you have no reason to believe the public
At large is at risk.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Clinton, there's a knob behind you, sir, on the wall. If you could turn that all the way to the left. Thank you.
Sure. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Do you know if they kept a list of people that came into the building?
Again, all part of the ongoing investigation.
Can you track back on the app? You said there was an app to get into the park. Can you track who paid on the app? Or do we know anything like that of who was coming in and out?
And I keep saying it, but all part of the ongoing investigation. Certainly, our people are well aware of the use of technology and how we can obtain necessary data in an appropriate manner. And we're working through all of that right now.
Do you think the gunmen are still in the area, or do you think they've left Indiana County?
I don't have that information right now. Again, we're working through trying to identify the gunmen, and then from that point, we'll make that determination where we believe they are.
Cliff, do you have a list of all the police agencies that have been involved? Somebody said even out-of-state police officers?
In our first press release issued earlier today, I did include a list of assisting agencies.
Okay.
So that information is there. Those agencies listed in that list are the ones that I was aware of having assisted us at the scene. So that may not be an all-inclusive list, but at that time, those are the agencies I was aware of.
Is anyone able to talk about the role that this center has in the community outside of this shooting?
I can tell you, I also serve on the board of directors for the Chevy Chase Center. The Chevy Chase Center has been in our community since, I believe, 1969, and plays an integral part in helping to provide meals and a community atmosphere for folks in need. I believe to date, the center has provided somewhere in the neighborhood of 65,000 meals to people in need in our community. Have provided gardens for people to bring fresh vegetables home, a center to socialize and be warm. It's used many times in inclement weather as a gathering place. So it has served as a place to help members of our community for many decades.
As a board member, I'd heard from neighbors in that area that it's typical for the center to be rented out during homecoming weekend. Is that right?
You know, as a board member, we don't work with the day-to-day operations. We serve in a different capacity, so that would be information that would be more better directed at the center director herself.
Is it rented out throughout the year for any type of event?
It can be rented out, and it has been rented out for kids' birthday parties and family reunions.
Does anybody know the nature of what this gathering was about last night at the center? We had heard initially there was a rumor of a birthday party.
There have been a lot of rumors out there, and again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation. As we identify the various attendees, we'll have a better handle on specifically why they were there and what motivated some of the various things that went on.
You have not released the name of the deceased victim.
We have not. As a matter of fact, we just checked with the coroner's office again. We're making sure that all of the appropriate notifications have been made, and there were still some things pending that preclude us from releasing it yet.
Local coroner?
Yes.
Yep. And is the victim an Indiana County or Pittsburgh?
I'm not prepared to say anything else about the deceased at this point.
As that crowd was leaving and police were going in, knowing that neighborhood, were there people running to other parts of the neighborhood? Were there ever any pursuits on foot or on horseback?
There were people running through that neighborhood. I will tell you that they exited that building in any way possible. As you can imagine, the chaos that would ensue from a number of gunshots in a relatively confined space. People dove through windows, people ran through doors, ran through porch railings trying to get away from that scene. And so there was chaos, and there were people who ran through the neighborhoods. And again, that's why we're asking for people to check their video and let us know if they have anything there that might be helpful. Our people at that point were focused on rendering aid and getting inside and securing to make sure that we didn't have any more shooting in there and get to the victims inside.
Were there any vehicles involved in terms of people driving away quickly and trying to identify those vehicles?
We're working through all of that right now.
With the influx or increase of these type of situations, how do you feel the training that you guys have done has helped the situation last night with the police response and everything like that?
I think that our people who were on scene did an amazing job. As the district attorney said, they ran toward it. They didn't run away from it. And so they went there first to investigate when they thought there could be a problem. They sent additional resources in the mounted detail, a unit that really specializes in dealing with disorderly groups and helps to dissipate the threat from a group that might be acting up a little rowdy. And so I think our people acted appropriately and responded heroically when the situation turned far worse. All right, well, thank you all for coming, and we will provide additional information as it becomes available and keep you all informed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.